Good evening, everybody. Thanks for joining us this evening. Of course, welcome to the Philosopher King podcast. I'm excited about this episode. Before I get into who the guest is, which I've already teased this morning on Cup of Jonah, remember to go check out Phone Booth Podcast.substack.com, where you can find all of our podcasts. And I think just make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the exclusive content on there either. And then also make sure you're checking out A Cup of Jonah in the morning. Every morning, 8 o'clock is when I go live, but there's a little 10-minute buffer there to allow everybody to kind of come in. And then I start the reading at 8:10, and we're going through Summa Contra Gentiles, which approaches all the truths of the faith, all these higher revealed truths or that are alleged to be revealed if you're not there. And just kind of talks about all these higher truths from a logical, reasonable perspective, which is something we all have in common. And, of various faiths, of various dispositions, etc. So that's why I love that book, is because we can all connect on that and then go from there together and see where it takes us. So on that morning podcast, one of the frequent attendees, so to speak, or participators, is here with us this evening. And it's great to have him. Shiva, welcome, sir.
How's it going? Jonah, everyone else?
It's great to have you on board, sir.
Long time.
Absolutely.
Always a great time.
Cheers, man.
I got my cup of Jonah. It's a little...
There you go.
It shows up clear. I like that.
I love it. It's important to have your cup of Jonah.
Literally black coffee, man. Best thing after dinner.
There you go. So I appreciate you jumping on with me, man. It'll be nice to kind of deep dive. And, I didn't know until earlier this evening that you, sir, are a seasoned trader.
Yeah, man. It's not one of the things I'm known for, right? I'm known for saying a lot of reckless, crazy shit that everyone's thinking. But day trading's one of those things too, right? We can talk about it.
It's true, yeah. And what's interesting about day trading is it takes. Well, I'll let you say. I'll tee it up for you, because there's a lot of misconceptions. A lot of people think that you have to have like a lot of precision, a lot of intelligence, a lot of experience, a lot of skills, etc. What do you think is the most important in order to be successful as a day trader? Because you've been doing it, what you said, 5-6 years? Is that right?
About 6 years. Self-awareness, discipline, self-awareness, discipline, self-awareness, discipline. That's about it.
Don't forget self-awareness.
And maybe a tad bit of discipline, right?
There you go.
It's more trading psychology than anything else, man. Like that's the boring stuff no one wants to talk about, but it's the fun stuff. It's what makes trading real and not just a temporary thing you try and disappointed yourself and everyone else with.
Yep. So it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting because I was a day trader for a long time as well. I'm doing other things now, but day trade a little on the side.
Jonah, day trading. Let's hear about this. I want to hear. I think everyone that joins the Philosopher King podcast wants to hear this.
So I first started day trading back in 2016-ish. And I was kind of relatively fresh back from Europe. And so I didn't really have much, disposable capital. So I was just paper trading.
That's why we get in it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Paper trading to kind of build the muscle and the skill and kind of get used to it.
And for anyone that doesn't know, or the new age people, paper trading is just demo trading.
Yeah,
it's simulated market, exactly like the real market, but you're using fake funds.
Yeah,
just
so
for
you
the
can
newbies out there.
I love that. Thank you. So you can kind of gauge, how you can actually start to measure your progress and everything like that. Well, a buddy of mine was more swing trading than day trading, but he was swing trading cryptocurrencies at the time, and he had made a really decent amount of money. And I had recently started day trading crypto, on this virtual app. So I was virtually trading crypto. I wasn't trading my own
On the
funds
phone.
on the phone.
Oh, wow.
And
Okay.
and I had something like in the mid 90s was my successful trade ratio. Like it
Like
was
percent win
percent,
rate.
yeah,
Okay.
percent win rate was in the mid 90s. And I was like, I'm really enjoying this trading stuff. Um, you know, he and he's like, oh, let me see what you're doing, and he's like, he's been doing it for years, and so he was like, let me teach, let me see, young protege,
Yeah.
and I showed him my trading history, and he like looked at me, and he's like, for real, this is what you've been doing. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, can I wire you some of my money right now so you can trade for me? And I was like,
Mm.
I got to think about it. Long story short, he ended up wiring me money. In the
Oh, you
first
got.
in the first couple months that I was trading his money, I made an agreement with him for a commission that I would make, because I'm like, this is my
Mhm.
way in. I can I can score the successful trades, pocket a piece of the upside, and now I
Mhm.
can start to build my own bankroll. Well,
Throw in a 50% return clause to client with a disclaimer and a waiver in there. Yeah, and we have ourselves some
so
clean money. Yeah.
it was going so I was making him so much money in the first 2 or 3 months, he started telling all of his friends. Before I knew it, I was trading capital for about 15, 20 different people. It was a lot of money. And just my commissions was just I won't get into numbers, but it
Yeah,
was
don't give
an
numbers, bro.
extremely healthy monthly wage.
Yeah.
And it
But
was
you
just
weren't
other
trading Jonah's money. You were trading
I was
everyone
I was
else's
I was
money.
trading everyone else's money. And I'm from the monastery days, I'm like, you talk about discipline being so necessary. Like, the main reason I'm so successful at my job today is because I'm like, we're all working from home. When you work from home, you have to have discipline. Like, that's
Hmm.
everything.
It's
And
everyone
so
thinks it's easy, but it's not. It's the hardest thing
and
ever.
and I just have that monastic discipline still ingrained in me, and so I just plug away, And so it was the same thing
Yeah.
with trading, just plugging away,
Yeah.
and yeah, so
And
it was
that's
really
it.
good. It was really
It
good.
doesn't get to just chime in there. It doesn't get more complicated than that. You found what worked, and you just do that over and 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 over
Yep.
and over and over and over and over and over and over. And
And
it gets
no.
very boring and greed and I do trading psychology, like psychological one-on-ones with people. This is more for a if you already trade. We'll
Mhm.
discuss what your major holdbacks are, and we'll pinpoint I call them the trading psychological errors, right, or the issues. For example, is it impatience? Is it you don't have patience? Is it greed? Is it over trading? Is it fear of missing out? Is it winning trades? Because some people winners will hit them more than losers. Like winners will destroy their mindset more than losers. And I get into
Mhm.
all this with everyone. And we then build a plan or a trading strategy, right, to counter your psychological issues you can't get through.
Mhm.
That's how I trade. That's the strategy. I never teach my strategy because no one's strategy matters, right? It is whatever works to counter your psychological holdbacks is what you do over and over and over. That's your trading style. In layman's terms, some people like you were saying swing trading. So for the people that don't know, that's longer term. It might be
Mhm.
multiple days, multiple weeks. Then people break it up, but it's pretty much you're trading longer term. You're in and out the same day, or you're in and out the same couple hours. I always thought I was a scalper. People say I'm a hyper scalper. Eh, you know. But at the end of the day, I found I'm the type of person that when I'm in a trade, the world's quiet. Nothing exists to me anymore. Family, children, friends, nothing. When that trade's over, I'm done. That's what I wanted. So that's what I designed. I didn't want to have to get in a trade, leave the laptop, and then worry all day, check my phone. Did it hit?
Mhm.
Did it hit? So I designed something. When I sit there, I trade. I don't trade more than 50 minutes a day.
Yep. Now, what do you trade? Are you in forex, stocks? What do you do typically?
Um,
Crypto?
all right, we're gonna go a little all in for Jonah because I normally don't give this out. A couple of people that I'm gonna get messages. All right. I trade futures. Right.
Okay.
It's where I've gotten to at this point. I started with binary options.
Mm-hmm.
until they tried to recruit me, and I'm like, I can recruit, but I'm not going to recruit because no one here knows how to fucking trade. I'm not going to talk about any companies. We all know the companies, right? But I was never a part of any of those. And then I ended up into Forex because, as you mentioned, if you don't have a lot of money, Forex allows you to trade you're trading penny per move. Penny per move, to make it simple for anyone that doesn't know about trading here. And then I got to futures because there's this beautiful word called spread. I might do a video about spread. I'll drop it on my page. Follow me at Shiva Discipline. There's this beautiful thing called spread where this is what the price of an asset is. And let's say we're gonna buy it. You want to buy from here for it to get here. But when you buy here, your broker will put you in here. This gap is called spread. And it's disgusting. Price has to move in a mathematical equally way. Let's say you were in a trade for 10 units, but spread is 5 units. Price has to move 15 units now for you to get your 10 units pay.
Yep.
That's fucking ridiculous. With futures, we don't really deal with that. We'll deal with spread, but it's like one tick, maybe two on a bad day.
I see. So because of the high liquidity, the amount of trades going through in the futures market, it keeps the spread very narrow so that you can.
And Forex uses the broker's data. So let's say we're on broker Cherry, for example. All of us trading through broker Cherry is using the data, the candlesticks, the price that broker is giving us.
Right.
But when we're trading futures, you actually have to pay for live data. So you're playing with the same thing Wall Street guys are playing with. So you don't deal with that manipulation. Hence the less spread, because that's how brokers make their money, through spread.
Well, exactly. You're cutting out the middleman. Yeah. Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with it. I have tons of friends that actually have brokerages. I'm Florida based, so in South Florida, we have a lot of people that make enough money, they trade. It's easy to open a brokerage, open a baby hedge fund, stuff like that. But spread. That's how people make their money.
Well, it makes sense though, because a spread makes more sense if you're swing trading. If you're going to be in a trade for a longer period of time and expecting a larger move, that little bit of spread difference doesn't make a very big difference.
You won't even notice it. You
won't hardly notice. Yeah.
Everyone
but if you're in and out,
0.01, you drop a 0.01, you don't feel spread.
Do you trade 5-minute charts, 15-minute, half hour?
For anyone watching this video, what I trade has nothing to do with what you trade.
I'm just getting to know you. Yeah.
I know. Before I've had people ask me things and I just don't answer, right? But I'm speaking a little from source here. It's been time. I trade gold futures. I trade only the 1-minute chart.
Okay.
That's it. That's all I've ever traded. That's all. Well, I looked at 1 hour, 15-minute, all that, 4-hour daily, all that. I know all the price action, the patterns, all those things. But 1-minute chart, gold futures, that's it.
So from my experience, best practice is to look at a daily chart down to maybe a 4-hour chart, then an hour chart, then however small you want to get. Depending on what frequency, what time frequency you're because you want to get a general sense for the market, right? Now, if you're trading 1-minute charts, do you just go up to an hour? Is that the biggest trend chart that you'll look at? Or do you look up to like a daily? I
look at a 1-minute.
So you don't look at like the 15-minute or the half hour to see what the market...
Literally, it never moves from 1-minute candles, correct.
Gotcha, okay.
Because this is what I found out. The lower your chart... It's a trading talk. Fuck it. The lower your chart, the smaller your stop loss.
Fair.
Logical. So if we don't have a lot of money, because I started dirt poor, nothing. If you don't have a lot of money, you're going to trade the smallest amount risk per trade. If you have some type of sense and if you've lost enough money from trading, right? So this is a few years in. You figure out, I should stick to a certain dollar amount. Let's keep it small. And let's get some skin in the game. If you're trading 1-hour charts, you're not going to get options.
I don't want to interrupt you, and I won't. But
we'll speak together.
But put a pin in the idea of a loss. I have a story about a loss I want to tell you. But go ahead.
Go ahead. Shoot it. We can probably. I'll weave it back in. I can hold the thought.
No, because it's a total subject change. So just keep. So okay.
So I went down to the 1-minute chart because I learned you're going to risk a smaller amount, right? Let's go balls out. Everyone can trade this, but you're not going to trade it the way I trade it if you don't have your psychology down. There's a level of discipline and self-awareness, mindfulness that I follow. I have rules in my family. There's certain rules, there's words we don't use. That trading, if you're not disciplined in life, you're not going to be disciplined in trading. If you're all over the place in life, your money's up and down, your emotions are up and down, your energies are up and down, you're going to suck at trading. Your account's going to be like that. It's a reflection of yourself. So
Mm.
I trade the 1 minute chart. I risk and I stay in a trade for a 1 to 5 win ratio. What that means, if I'm risking $100, I'm winning $500 when that trade fully clears. If it loses, I lose $100. I'm doing this every time.
So
That's it.
so mathematically, you only have to be right 4 out of 5, 1 out of 5 times to break even.
1 out of 5 to break even, 2 out of 5 to make profits, 3 out of 5 is $1,000 today.
Mm-hmm. That's
And
great.
and then I only risk 5% of my account. That means I have to lose 20 times before I blow the whole account. I haven't blown an account in years. And if anyone knows what that means you take all your money in your account and it ends up at zero no matter how much money you start, even if you made profit. If you're a trader, you've blown an account. If you haven't blown an account and you said you're a trader, you're lying. Or you haven't traded long enough. Like
Yeah.
message me, tell me about it. But I haven't blown an account in years. 5% risk. 5% risk. And I'm not gonna lie, there are some days and I have multiple accounts. Compared to the account that I do 5% risk, some accounts I'll throw 20% risk. Why? Because it's money I'm okay with throwing away. If I lost it, if I was on the street and I lost this money, I would be fine. It wouldn't hurt me. But a lot of the people that I do these psychological one-on-ones with, they're brand new in trading. They told everyone and their mother they're trading. They gave up their job because they made a few dollars, and then the market turned and that luck went away.
Mm.
Because it takes zero skill to trade. To trade, you press a button and you're in a trade. That it takes to get in a trade, you just have to press a button, guys. Click. If you can click, you can get in a trade. That's the skill. That's the
Right.
action. That's the conditioning. But to get in for the same reason at the same risk amount over and over and over and over, to take losses and not let it hurt you, to take wins and not let it make you want to risk your trade amount, that's the discipline. I could talk about this with girls. I could talk about this with food, with sugar, with driving. It's the same discipline. It's contentment and self-awareness.
Mm-hmm. I love that. So it's interesting now to circle back to the idea of a loss.
I want to hear this.
So
Let's
for
hear
me, it
this,
was
because your biggest loss is your biggest lesson.
My biggest loss was my biggest lesson, and it was the biggest lesson in self-awareness. You might know my story from having watched different live streams, but so about 8 years ago, I was in a really messy divorce that my whole family disowned me. I lost everything and everybody in my life in a 30-day period.
It'd be like that.
And it makes us stronger. It makes you, when you have nothing else but God to rely on, you realize how much He's there for you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so it was in the midst of this. This was around the time that I had this fund that I was telling you about with friends of this friend and all these people. And a lot of them, not all, but a lot of them were connected to the same friend group wherein my ex was slandering my name and making up all kinds of stuff. And so a lot of them pulled out money. So I went from a substantial size fund to a decent size fund pretty quickly.
Woman.
I know.
Be careful.
Don't get me started.
To all traders, be careful.
And then
don't tell people you trade.
And then I have a funny story of what a friend told me about women last night. I think it was actually, but I'll tell you that in a second. So, lacking self-awareness, subconsciously, I realize in hindsight, since everything in my life was falling apart and I was losing everything, even some of the people in the fund, I thought, if I can just get these big wins, I will get those people back and I'll get my source of income back. And I entered trades with leverage that I never, ever should have entered. Gone like that. Blew the account. Because I was not in an emotional state. I was trying to force a trade because my focus was I was not
Revenge
disciplined.
trading.
Yeah,
Revenge trading.
I was
Yeah,
not
yeah.
disciplined. It was very humbling. Yeah. What's up, Haywood?
It's a human thing. We're designed as humans to always survive. And trading doesn't work like that. Trading is probabilities. And it's very hard to disassociate from the emotional and attachment of our money. Money isn't. If you look at money, right, and or currency, let's look at currency because money isn't real. We live in a fiat world. For anyone who doesn't know what fiat is, Google it. But currency requires our time and energy, and both of these things are finite. Your experience of your time is finite. You will never get it back. And
Mm,
then your experience of your energy is the same thing. You can never experience the same energy twice on a
mm,
literal basis. You cannot prove that electricity is the same electricity that came into the circuit last time. Now expand it. You see what I'm saying? So now
mm-hmm,
when we have money or any current exchange or currency being involved, emotionally we're taking off the way our ancestors did, walking on thin ice, the way our ancestors did, walking accidentally through a predator's habitat. Our mind doesn't understand. I recommend everyone read the book Psycho-Cybernetics. It talks about the self-image. It also talks about the brain and how the brain can't differentiate between what's physically happening now and what happened a million years ago when it comes to the specifics of the situation. It gives us a power, like a magic wand, to control our mind. And this is where the awareness of the mind, awareness of consciousness becomes discipline of the mind. That's literally what I tell myself. That's what has gotten me through trading. It's what I tell everyone. And if you look at every word individually for their separate meaning, and I'm not going to go into that now. Like, reach out to me on the neck, reach out to me in any shape or form. We'll talk about it. Reach out to Jonah. He'll talk to you about it too. But if you go into that very, very, very intricacy of who am I? Why am I trading? Why am I taking so much leverage? Now, will it work? Now, will it work?
mm-hmm.
And you're gonna say no, and you're not gonna do it. And if you
Yeah.
do it the first time, you're dumb. If you do it the second time, you're fucking retarded. By your third, fourth time, you're not gonna have enough money, man. So
Good
then
night.
you're gonna
Good
wait
night,
around.
nurse. Yeah.
That's it, man.
That's hilarious.
I think everyone should attempt to learn to trade because they will learn about themselves more than
Mm-hmm.
anything else, more than a heartbreak, more than a divorce. Not mean to, like, just you got divorced and I get it. More than someone dying. Learning about
Well, it's
yourself is
funny.
the most important thing.
An old business partner of mine. I told him somewhat ashamed, obviously, because I felt bad that I had lost the money that I lost for people who trusted me, and and he was like, what did you learn? And I was like, well, this, and this. And he's like, cool. He's like, don't sweat it, man. I see you're down about it. He's like, pick yourself up. He's like, get over it. He's like, I know some of the wealthiest traders that I know because he used to trade on the CBOE, Chicago Board of Exchange.
Mm-hmm.
Um, uh,
Real pit trading, different.
Real pit trading for a long
Yeah,
time, and he was trading, shoulder to shoulder with guys who, were trading $10 million a trade. Like these guys were heavy hitters, and he said he knew guys who had blown 10, $50 million accounts, zeroed. And he said it happens. He said most of these guys who were multi millionaires in trading, he said most of those guys they'd blown at least one seven-figure account in their life, if not
Well,
multiple.
they say pressure makes diamonds, right? I do not recommend to any new trader to trade anyone else's money. We are what we call retail traders. We are trading our own capital. We're not trading anyone else's capital. Our capital is not insured the way the way stock, what's it called? Chicago's money is insured, guys. Wall Street's
Yep.
money is insured. There's a limit. There's a certain amount they can afford to lose. That being said, our money is different.
Yeah.
Our money is all we have, right? I recommend everyone read the book The Richest Man in Babylon. I just finished reading it again. It's
I
one of my favorites.
love that book. I
You
love
will
that
always
book.
find something new about it. It pretty much speaks about taking care of yourself first. I can't spoil the book for you. because it tells you from day one or page one, right? I actually, you know what? I'll talk to Jonah, see how this reading thing works, and I might start reading to you guys. The Richest Man in Babylon. If you want me to do that, go ahead. I'll drop a poll later. We'll talk about it. But it says take 10% out of all income for yourself. Take 20% out for all your debt, if you have any, and figure out how to live on the remainder 70%. That's it. That's it.
Have you ever read the book? Because you mentioned the book Richest Man in Babylon. That's one of my favorite books. Have you also? I think it's called, if memory serves, it's called The Apprentice. Do you know that book?
I do not. I've been told to read that one, but there's many on my list.
Yeah.
And for all fairness, in today's time too, because I've heard people say, I don't read, I don't have time, I don't have money for books. I'm all about accountability. That's the last one, accountability. And all these things we talk about, these books, you can get for free on Google. Not Google, on YouTube. Go look them up for free. They're audiobooks. If you're not finding one, go look up another book. They have different books. Majority of the books I read now are audiobooks. YouTube videos. Pay for YouTube Premium. Turn the screen off. Stop being cheap. Capitalism. You get what you pay for. We live in America.
Audible is one of my favorites. That's
Yeah,
I
and
love
Audible.
I love
I think
Audible.
they have a monthly subscription for unlimited reads.
Yep. Here, let me see. I want to get this. I don't know that it's I want to get the name correct for you for this one. I don't know if it's Apprentice. I just want to make sure I'm not confusing things. Another really wonderful tool, if you haven't heard of it yet, is called Shortform. Have you heard of that?
Tell me more about it.
So Shortform is basically a subscription. It's a website where it's kind of like Audible, but instead it's like short one-page summaries of books out there as a cover page. It'll just give you like the 30,000-foot view, and then it'll go into summaries of each of the chapters, like 1 or 2 page summaries of the chapters. But then it'll have, in that analysis, it'll have connection to other similar books on the same topic in the same genre, like if it's a motivation or self-help or whatever.
Okay.
And so it gives you other ideas of books to read. It'll be like, at the end, it'll have like a little commentary afterwards, and it'll say, this is a really interesting take on discipline. Like I used it when I read the Atomic Habits. It was amazing because it was like, well, this is kind of similar to this book that breaks out the ways of forming a habit as these steps rather than
Atomic
those.
Habits. That's another one.
That's a great one.
But Jonah, we end up in the situation where we have all these books and everyone reads them and they read them to read them and they think because they read them, life's going to be better now, and no one's actually doing what they read in the book. It's this completion metric because we have all this information, and without application, let's weave it back into trading real quick because that seems to light a different side of you. I like that that makes you light up like a cup of Jonah, right? Like if you read all the trading books, here's a couple of trading books: Candlestick Bible, One Good Trade, Trading in the Zone. These are basic trading books. Right? Everyone knows Mark Douglas, the trading psychology guy. But is anyone actually applying what they're reading? No.
Right.
That's why they say 95% of people quit trading. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be part of that 95%. Because when you quit trading is when you stop trading. When you stop trying. And I'm on the path of where there's a dollar amount that's retirement for me. And once I hit that amount, I'm done with trading. I quit. So I'm gonna be part of the 95%. That's the only way I can look at it. I've made money in every single way, clean and not, right? I recommend everyone make clean money, pay your taxes. Palantir is active and real. That being said, right? Don't try to hide crypto.
Nope,
don't get too attached to Bitcoin. Yeah, just pay your taxes. For those gentlemen out there that want to play with marriage, go ahead. You'll get a 10% discount on your taxes. Talk to your tax guy. Just verify that before. This is not financial advice. But clean, guys. Live clean. Live clean. Look up China. You got there's this amazing podcast. What's this called? This is Truth or Dude. Ted Phone Booth. There you go. Phone Booth podcast. Right? They talk about this shit all the fucking time. Check those guys out. But when it comes to trading, let's put trading aside, right? So we don't bore everybody. Learn about yourselves. You're trading your time, you're trading your energy for what? That's the question. And then are you satisfied? And if the answer is yes, continue. If the answer is yes, continue.
Well, and this kind of indirectly connects back to something that I think is really important when we look at, because obviously you mentioned the podcast, Ted and the boys, right? We talk about a lot of heavy things. We talk about a lot of issues that are international issues, national issues, think causes of concern, et cetera, et cetera. Fill in the blank. I think what's really important, though, it's easy to get caught up in that, get emotionally tied up in that, and to spend your energy on that. And so that then you don't have enough energy to love the person in front of you, to have a positive influence on your sphere of influence, whether it's your family or your friends or your community right around you. So that's where, for me, a big step, because obviously we all want the truth. We all seek for the truth. We all want to expose the lies and wickedness. We all want justice to be done. Okay, fine. But there has to be, if my concern for those things makes it so that I don't have the energy to show up as the man that I need to be in my life for the people in my life that depend on me or that have contact with me, then I am part of the problem.
I would just say fuck it 100% accountability. You are the entire problem, not a part, because then you're going to always have a part to fix, right? Like solution minded is what I think. Like if
What
you are
I
the full, just exact everything you said, but then you are the full problem. Because
what
the
I
moment you make that switch over and do as you say, separate from that fear mongering that's being done out there, separate from those things that are being done to paralyze you to be this problem. uh, the moment you realize that, that half is gone. The second half is now action. So that's why I say accountability 100%. Everything is my fault. That's the only way I can make it through.
yes and no, and this is where I
That's
just to clarify,
duality.
I think right, dualistic.
And that's the trap.
So what I would say, though, just to clarify, I think we're on the same page, but just using different phrases, just approaching it from a different angle. From my perspective, yes, it's I have to take 100% accountability, but there are bad things happening in the world that I have no control over. What I meant by part of the problem, meaning I contribute to the evil in the world if I behave in that way. If I choose to not get absorbed into that or to contribute, then I can become part of the solution by actually being a positive influence in my life and to those around me, right?
This is gonna sound like the most hippiest shit ever. This goes as far back as 5,000-year-old Vedas. Okay? Everything that happens is always happening for everything's benefit all the time, always. That is the baseline. Because everything is created by, governed to, governed by, belongs to, and is willed by the one and only source creator. In modern times,
Agreed.
we call it God. In
Agreed.
previous times, they call it other things. And we are told there was a previous time where they all called it one thing. I'm here now. I don't know about those times. But I know
All
we
right.
all fight and we can all, like I say, it's funny. A Jewish friend of mine told me this, and this is not a joke or anything, because I understand the podcast, the Jew thing. But a Jewish man told me, God and religion are beautiful things, but they should be discussed separately. Separately, they're beautiful. Every religion is beautiful. If we're not trying to get the other guy to come do our thing, agree to our thing, and we're not trying to do to others what we wouldn't do onto ourselves. Full context, everything I just said. Right? Because if you look at what is religion, let's speak of the Christian religion. It's a set of loving each other equally.
Mm-hmm.
It's the set of protecting each other. It's no different from American values, and I don't want to go too much into politics unless you want to, or the whole conservative values of nuclear family, love thy
Mm-hmm.
neighbor, Do not kill. The Ten Commandments. Ten Commandments vibes. This isn't Cup of Jonah. Sorry, guys. But there's no different from that in a majority of the religions to where people love their religion. Right? Now, mine is better than yours. That causes biggest issue. You should convert to mine because I have to save you. That's the next issue. If we remove those two separate things and we discuss, do you see how much we have to dissect religion? Right? But it still has some good in it. Let's play with dualities. It still has some good in it. So we'll dissect it that way. And let's put religion to the side now. Now we speak of God without religion. It's a great thing to talk about God without religion because then we're talking about the creator. And we're talking about everything that's been created. Because that one could say that thing created is not God. Fair. But it is a reflection of a bit of God that if we are to analyze it, somehow, some way, God sent the thought stream or the electrical stream to create this thing. If I look at this thing enough in that mindset of what about this, can this tell me about God? I'm just God-minded the entire time. And now if I do it with a cup, if I do it with another thing, with that same mindset, the creator source created this thing. This is somehow a reflection of that thing. Am I not then dedicating myself to God? Did I not just focus on God? Did I not just devote myself to God? I am living in the time of now, doing all the things, the manifestation, all the things they tell you, right? Live in the now, positive energy, grateful energy. Think as if you were a child. Every day is a new day. All the mysticism. Think about that. So I look at it that way. Technically, I've learned to say this nicely. To ourselves, we are God. But we're all gods that don't need worshipers. So what would a God that doesn't need a worshiper do? It would take care of everybody else. Friend, people call it agape love, right? I know you heard the term agape love. It's like some really hippie shit. And I'm not saying evil doesn't exist. And I'm not saying cruel things don't, like I'm not like Epstein's list. Let's just leave it there, right? Like to show like I'm not this little hermit living in a hole. But it's all governed by God, and it's somehow for a greater, better way. We just don't understand it yet.
Yeah, and that's why I wouldn't say, nor do I, depending on what you mean by God, I think there's only one God with a capital G. You can maybe use the term in another sense because of how
there's God, and then we're baby gods.
How we are in his image, right? There are similarities. There's a participation of our minds and hearts in his mind and heart, so to speak, right? So there's a similarity. And actually, what's interesting is Friday, Cup of Jonah, 8 a.m. The chapter that we're going to be reading is about how God is in his creatures. So it's actually going to look at how we see God in every creature, every single one, not just men. Men are the most clear image of God, as is his design, but not the only image. So there's traces of God.
Right, man is clear image to man.
Well, man is the apex of creation. No. Man has intellect and will.
Now,
and that's what God is an intellectual being, pure intellect, right? And we have intellects. A dog or an ant or a tree don't have intellects. They have souls, but they don't have intellects. They're not rational.
That's an interesting line to say. They have souls, which cannot be measured by science yet. But we can say they do not have intellect because it has not been measured by science yet. What if science is just a little late and trees actually have a lot of intellect, and we are mobile nature and they are stagnant nature?
So it's actually, Aristotle talked about 3 different kinds of souls. So this is according to reason, not religion. There's vegetative powers. We see the kind of soul that a being has by the powers that it has, because the powers flow from the soul. So vegetative soul has certain powers. All plants have certain powers. Animals have certain powers that include all the powers of the vegetative souls. Rational animals, men, have certain powers of reason, will, etc., which include all the animal powers and all the vegetative powers. We process nutrition like plants. we can move and run around like animals, but we can also think, speak, and sing like animals can't, right? So that's the rational observation and philosophy, which is a higher science than any of the garbage white lab suits playing around with chemicals and measuring properties of things. That's not true science. It's a part of science if done properly, which most of them don't do it properly, but that's another story for another day.
You're talking about the scientists that end up working for NASA and things of that sort. Because
The
we definitely went to the moon, guys. If anyone's watching this video, we went to the moon, and space is real, and everything is perfectly round, and lines are real, and all those things. Okay. Well, sir, I do not think free will is a thing. We can go down the hole of will. I believe the illusion of free will is a thing because God decided to be loving. And I've heard both sides of this. There's certain things we just can't prove. We're just gonna talk on both ends, right? Like there's some people that will quote a book, and there's some people that will be like, "What does that mean?"
You can prove free will from a philosophical standpoint, not religion.
Run it. Let's hear.
Because every power has an appetite that's consequent upon it. Just like we can ingest food, therefore we're hungry at times. We're drawn towards it. Right?
So that's you're talking based on the cause and effect relationship.
No. I'm talking about the power of perception leads to a power of movement towards the object perceived. Okay. Or away from it. Right? Just like if I'm hungry, I move towards the chocolate and away from the celery. Personal preference, guys.
Fair.
Okay.
Then again, with today's time, carcinogens will kill you. You're rather off the chocolate, but fair.
Right.
So you're talking about intellect to make better, to discern between the best for yourself.
The cause, the purpose of a perceptive power is the selection of or the movement towards that which is perceived. In all cases throughout nature, we see this. So if we have an intellectual power, there's an intellectual appetite that goes with it that either repulses something as false. We call it, when it's regards to the intellect, we call it false. If it's drawn towards it, we call it true. The appetitive power, which flows, that's what the philosophers call the power that flows from the perceptive power of the intellect, that appetite in that intellectual appetite, if you will, is called the will. In fact, that's the most powerful and it has the most, it smacks of truth the most. It resonates with us the most. If you realize that the only reason why God allows evil in this world is because free will is because of the power of love, agape. Because if without love, without free will, love is impossible. Because love has to be a movement, a free movement towards something. If you don't have free will, that movement's not free. There's no love. It's slavery. It's coercion. But in order for it to be free, you have to allow people to choose against it and to reject it. So that's why it's the only thing, the power of love is the only thing that makes any of the evil in the world make sense.
The power of love, I agree, makes all the evil in the universe or in creation make sense. At the same time, though, that you mentioned the will. Will itself, the will of God is everything. Nothing happens without the will of God. The beginning parts of all the spiritual books are, because you said a lot there. There was a lot to unpack there, but let's bring it back to the will, right? The spiritual, I think all the books in the beginning said it clearly and nicely of all the lands, and then the political leaders took and made their own rules throughout history, right? Now we have different religions. But let's talk about, let's use a little bit of similarities of scripture. Everyone agrees nothing happens unless the Lord wills it. So your own, and there's this thing called, I believe it's called Kashmir Shaivism, or a singular worship, or a singular view of God, because God is defined as consciousness, and then consciousness manifested itself as creation. So it is described as, think of it like you have a dream, and in a dream someone gives you a cup of water to drink, and in the dream you take the water and drink the dream.
Mm-hmm.
So when you then wake up from said dream, one could say you created that same water that you took and drank, because you created all of it in your mind. So Kashmir Shaivism speaks of, we are all, this entire creation is inside the mind of what we've all agreed to as, let's say, source energy, call it God. So everything is consciousness. And like you've said, consciousness is the awareness of oneself. So then it is said in Kashmir Shaivism, and I use this because it's like a 5,000 year thing, and a lot of the biblical, not what happened at the times, but the teachings of universe and life and morals, things like that, they come from there as well. And we could talk about some things off screen, like some ritualistic things. But all of it speaks of, there's this consciousness that manifested everything. So where they say on a certain day God created light, well, that is the same thing as if you meditate and manifest, boom, within the mind what the thus can see. So if we trickle it down, everything that exists is a manifestation of this consciousness. We live in more of a everything is a safer world as a result, without going into all the jargon, as a result of looking at it this way, so people can tread a little more freely in the world today that is fear-mongered. We all agree elites exist. I would say the elites and the evil exist so we can go to God.
So yeah, no, agreed, and I think that's the only reason why God allows evil in this world is to is to add to His glory and to lead people to Him.
It limits God to say that that anyone could do anything and God couldn't stop it. Because that's at the end of the line, on a literal basis, if you have free will and I will that I will do anything and God will not punish me, what would that, if God has to follow that rule, God cannot punish you? That's crazy. If the ultimate most powerful being ever is in control of all things, everyone does what it wants, and if they need to think that they're doing it on their will, sure. It's the biggest G, bro.
So then he's deceiving us.
He's everything, correct. It's God is limitless, because to say God cannot be a deceiver,
God would not deceive. Out here.
Okay. If we are made in the reflection, okay. Like there's certain things I've learned not to, they're opinionated, because we haven't met this God. We're all speaking about a being that we haven't met yet. We're all going based on text until it benefits us not. But we cannot limit God.
But we can't attribute evil to God.
Why not? God created it, didn't it?
No, He didn't.
How can anything exist without? But so why did God will it?
See, this is so
simply without
this
words.
Is why
simply.
This is why I think you'll really love, as we continue through the Summa Contra Gentiles and Cup of Jonah. I think you'll really love it, because there's a distinction. Well, two things. One, there's a distinction between active will and passive will. There's a difference between God allowing something and Him actively willing it. He's allowing it because He's willing a greater good as the outcome. So He's allowed it because it's a tool.
Can we allow the creation of it? Because for anything to be anything, it has to be created first.
So
God is the ultimate creator, and God wills everything created. Unless you're saying things can be created without God willing it. At that point, I'll agree to not continue, because that's crazy to me.
That's not what I'm saying. Okay. So the other important distinction in this is to ask the question, what is evil? Because most people have this dualistic yin and yang idea of what evil is, as if it's an equal and opposite force, a positive reality. It's not. All that evil is
one of many, many things.
All that evil is a lack of a do-good. We can talk about physical evil. We could talk about moral evil. We could talk about spiritual evil. Let's talk about physical, because it's easy to imagine, right? If a bird doesn't have wings, that's a physical evil, because it's by nature is supposed to have wings. If a dog or a man doesn't have wings, we don't call that evil. That's not a physical evil. So it's a lack of a do-good. Did God allow
But it is a physical evil if the man does not have limbs.
Correct.
Based on what you said. Okay.
Bingo. Right? Okay. It's because that those are qualities or things that by nature man ought to have. Okay.
Okay.
So all that evil is, and this is why the devil is no threat to God, is because all evil is a lack of a do good. And so by my will, I can refuse to allow to be created in me the goodness that God wants in me, that God is inviting me to, let's say, with my free will to respond and be good in response. God is the creator of all good. But if I refuse him, I become evil. In whatever area of my life I refuse his invitation.
If you refuse God.
Or his invitation. Yes. But also
in God or anything from God.
Correct. So any vice, any moral evil that exists in the world is because something or somebody refused God. God didn't positively create the evil. He allowed the lack of the good that he intended or wanted or invited, is better to say, perhaps, right?
Okay.
That's an important distinction. God did not create evil. Because God did not create evil. He is the source of all goodness.
Okay, fine. I have a hypothetical question. I'm assuming you read the book, the Bible, and all these things. Fine. So let's talk a different hypothetical. If in some bring magical fantasy realm, you found God is real. For this work to work, God has to be real. You have utmost proof God is real. God is now speaking to you in a way that the masses can see. So this is a fantasy world, right? And it says, I have created evil. Can you still love me knowing that and not understanding why? Could you say yes? I'm not saying you attest and say that God, like, this is all hypothetical, right? Like this is the following all these readings and all these rules and all these things really made me start talking to God in here silently. Because I realized, well, from consciousness, the closest thing. And I said, if this God did the most terrible things, the most beautiful things, because I agree with everything you say, I agree with it in ways that I don't think would be appropriate to speak about on a public forum, but I would love to speak to you privately about it. You know what I mean? Okay. It'd be fun. But it is, if you get put in, if God were to give you this question under those scenarios, could your answer be yes? This is the most powerful being in existence forever. I think that's universal. We could say God.
According to my understanding, philosophically, even aside from religion, because I get it, our religions are similar in our core beliefs, but different in many aspects.
In our practices and current times, different places, yeah.
Going back to, again, kind of in spirit of Cup of Jonah, what we have in common is our rational mind, right? So if I were to find myself in front of a being that claimed to be God and claimed to be the most powerful and seemed to me to be thus, frankly, but also claimed to be the creator of evil, because of my understanding of philosophy, not religion, but philosophy, I would know that whatever being was talking to me was neither the prime creator, he was neither the primary source.
All right, okay. To interrupt you before you go, I agree with that. You would have to source it all. That's modern. That's logic. Yes, that's disclaimer. Now, in this fantasy world where you have whatever at your core makes things real to you, one could say your experiences. That's the only thing that one's experiences make things real to us, right? So whatever loosely, Jonah, like loosely for the audience, right? Not everyone understands the intricacy.
No, but here's the only pushback I want to make there is experiences are subjective. What I'm talking about is truth, which is objective. My experience is subjective. My experiences may be irrelevant, not always, but they can be irrelevant.
So the objective truth of God, or source creator, or creator, what are we playing with here? Because those are three different things, or they can be one thing.
What's up, Mindy? But so the part of the reason I don't actually, let's take a step back. Can you help me understand what you were trying to? Can you explain to me the point you were trying to get at by the hypothetical? Because
the hypothetical. Yeah. Without whether we have, I was going to ask you what's your objective proof that you know God is real, right? But whatever reasons you know God is real, that same validation of objective truth in the hypothetical proves to you that this being is God. This is prime source creators. However, you can make a whole series about it, but just for the point of the hypothetical, this is God. This is creator, right? This right here makes you question about, do you even believe in a God? If you believe in a God, that thing
Right.
tells you, I have created everything, including this evil. I am all soul. I've created all that. Just before, aside, like, I understand what you know. I understand what you know. That's very conflicting, and I get it. This was one of the. This is the ultimate matrix to break out of. The kids say matrix. It's no different from the fiat system. It's no different from big pharma, from obesity, from sugar. It's the same concept of, if God can do no wrong. That means no matter what God does, and also only God shall judge, I cannot judge it. I still have to be most loyal, most loving, most kind, most appreciative, most everything to it. I am its eternal server. So if that thing then tells you, it's created the little tiny, the evil, to us is so big and lives in a dualistic realm, so it's so big, but it's so tiny. But it created that still. Can you still love it and not even care about the evil because it'll take care of you from the evil? Could your answer be yes, or would your answer be yes, or would your answer be no? Simple. What you can only check in one and color in the box. There's no explain here. It's like a FCAT test. In Florida, we have FCAT back in the day. I don't know if they have it anymore. My age is showing.
Well, so
in this, yes or no.
In this hypothetical alternate reality that cannot possibly exist, yes, of course I would. Whoever the supreme creator is, that is the primary source, the cause of all causes, the unmoved mover, God Almighty. Absolutely. Because cool. Sometimes something might seem false or evil to me when it isn't actually truly in itself.
And there's a lot of information we never know. We never know everything, only God. Okay, so because of that, now, this is going to sound crazy, right? It is a level of, fuck it. This is going to sound crazy. So because of that, I genuinely consider everything God. To the point of, simultaneously with, everything always happens for the benefit of me always, even if I don't understand why now. That is my utmost trust and belief and faith.
I love that. So
because there is this higher power that will guide me. Evil is very real, but it'll guide me to enough evil to make me do what it needs me to do. And then it's at the same time, though, we haven't mentioned good. Guide me into good. But there's better things beyond duality.
Well, and
me and Vince talk about it all the time. Dualistic podcast. Check out our boy Vince. I don't know the times. Jonah knows those things.
No, actually, nobody knows the times. He's kind of sporadic.
God's time.
There you go. But he and I actually had a good conversation about this when he came on the cast. It's an important. What's one thing that's important is things are only dualistic by our perception, because they're not actually.
Correct. I agree with you.
Good can be defined in and of itself, but you need good is included in the definition of evil. Evil is a privation of good. Light can be defined in itself. Darkness is defined by definition, includes in its definition a lack of light. So that in and of itself, just the way we define these things.
The Vedas describe it as that of which leave when light occurs or comes back. When light comes back, darkness leaves. So it implies light is first and darkness, what you said.
And then similar to truth, and there's truth in every lie, but there isn't a lie in every truth.
Correct.
There can be some mixture of lies, but the truth is the truth. And the lie, it always has some admixture of truth. And you need the truth in order to define what a lie is.
Before we continue, and you have this book you've been reading. Do you hear how crazy this shit is? How many loopholes and how much caution we have to take? And people drive at 80 miles to the hour, right? This is why I have found it is best for myself to really let God take even my will.
I think that's beautiful. I think it's beautiful is to give our will
Because
to him.
I'll accept we have free will. I'll take it. You know why? Because it makes more value of me saying I'll even give you my will too.
Exactly. Your will would have no value to give to him if you didn't have it free to begin with. So I 100% agree with you there. What's
Well, it's not
beautiful,
even about value to him. It's about value to me. Because if
correct.
I give my will to God,
Also
I'm
to him.
safe.
Also to him.
I
I do
understand, but
believe.
that's
I
where,
do
remember,
believe that he has value. He
I'm
sees
the
value in his
manifested form
creation.
of God, right? So I heard someone say it in a way where God created everything, went and saw it till its very end, saw it was perfect, came back in Fibonacci sequence trading, right? Fibonacci came back in Fibonacci and manifested as us to experience the end, because the end's always the best fucking part.
Well, and that's that. I think is. Yeah, and this gets into another conversation that we could that was a much longer conversation about religion, because
You can always call me back on here.
what we could talk about at some point, because I want to get back to it, because I don't agree that all religions are equal, and that it's just a
No, I
different
don't. No, I
God.
don't. I don't think all religions are equal at all.
And I do think that there has to be, because so one of the old scholastic principles, that's the medieval philosophical Aristotelian thought structure that's very ordered. Aristotle said it too, where there's distinction, there's hierarchy. So where two things are not the same, one is better than another in some respect or other, right?
Okay.
And so because different religions will teach different things about God, but God is one. So some religions have some things accurate about God, other religions have other things accurate about God. So which religion has the most accurate about God? For example, is Jesus God incarnate or not? If he is, there's a series of consequences that flow from that, and a series of of things that are then like consequence. By consequences, I mean conclusions that I have to draw in consequence, conclusions that flow upon that as I reflect on that, right? If he
Okay.
didn't, then there's a whole nother set of consequences, right? So it's
Okay.
important for us to understand
What those
of
consequences are at best.
all of these various religions, to understand which is actually a more accurate, or most accurate, if you will, representation of that uncaused cause, that prime mover, God, who we
So
call in today's words God, right? That's important, and it's possible.
it is. It is. Because you're on the phone booth podcast, it is safe to say you've been down rabbit holes, right? The Sumerian thing, the book, right? The hold on, Emerald Tablets, the Tibet Book of the Dead, all the Egyptian stuff that's separate from the Sumerian stuff. I don't know if you've gone down the Vedic rabbit hole. I used to speak to some people on Spaces, and one of the things we looked at, because I got into, you heard of the Mahabharata?
Mm-hmm.
Krishna, the whole, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So the Krishna, Ram, that whole this and that.
Mm-hmm.
My thing was, why the fuck should we listen to this, right? And I am Guyanese, Portuguese, Irish, Welsh, and Indian. So the Indian people out there, they're like, whoa, what the fuck, you Shiva? Why should we listen to this? Well, if you understand the Sanskrit, Shiva means that which is not, and that which is, because everything is something, or it's nothing, right? Everything that is Jonah is Jonah. Everything that is not Jonah is not Jonah. That's what makes everything that is Jonah Jonah.
Right.
Jonah can never be everything that is Jonah, and at the same time everything that is not Jonah, and nothing and everything. Okay?
Principle and non-contradiction.
So
Beautiful.
we have said then in Sanskrit, Shiva. So only God, source creator, is everything and nothing and a part of everything, but it's not affected by a part of anything. We also have a word called Swayambha, self-creating, because the question comes up, well, where did God come from? Well, it created itself. It is the only thing that can die to defeat evil and create itself again. It is self-creating, Swambha Swayambha, all right? So with these concepts then, it goes to say, well, damn, this God thing, it's even more complicated to figure out now, because we want to find it. That's the point of this. That's why we're talking about these things. We all want to find this God thing. Why? We don't even fucking know yet. to serve, to not serve, to say, yo, you're the greatest, but it already knows that. Right? Why do we really want to find God? To know it's real. So we call it in Sanskrit, it is said, there's this beautiful passage of what the baby goes through in the womb, et cetera, it knows the pain, the soul's past births, and all of these different things. It says then, the mother of illusion casts the veil upon it so that it does not feel the pain of everything. And it says you have one job on this realm, Shiva Bhakti. So Shiva is what I told you, God. That is which not, and that is which is. Or modern day consciousness. Because only from consciousness can be nothing, and then it can be everything. Have anyone ever closed their mind and close their mouth and listen to their mind? Right? Consciousness is crazy. Not the mind. The mind is where consciousness is played with or is experienced. We're talking about consciousness itself. So then bhakti means study of. Study of. I'm not even talking scholar. Everything we do, we look into it, and you could break up the word study of how it comes into. But everything in existence and the purpose of life is the study of this God being, this creator.
Or perhaps better to say contemplation. Contemplation of rather than study of.
Yeah, English. Yeah. Contemplation, because that is the final part of studying. Correct. Let's give completion there. Fine. So with that concept, then now you could talk about the soul. You could talk about the elements. You could talk about ritual, non-ritual. You could break it up in a million billion different ways, because we're still talking about the same one God, right? It's unfortunately in modern times, a lot of shit's gotten fucked up to where people don't look at God as this ultimate great thing anymore, and only that. They look at God as this ultimate great thing that can help them. I've spoken to, when I was reading, back to the Bhagavad Gita and stuff, when I was reading the Bhagavad Gita, the Ramayana, and I was starting to learn Sanskrit to read the original text, I found out that these things talked about constellations. And they actually had a lot of doctorate degree people that follow the constellations and tell the timelines of when these things happen, proving that maybe it's not mythology and it's not stories of these fantasy gods and things like that the Indians or the Vedas talk about. What if they were people with technologies, and they were a little more advanced than we spoke of, right? Because if you follow the constellation and the timelines, Krishna and Jesus, and if you crunch some numbers based on, we use 60, 24, 365, Jesus and Krishna, which have almost the same exact core values, are only 300 years apart. So technically, Jesus died 333 years after Krishna died. Like, there's a lot we can go into. Like, we have podcasts for days with this. This then tells me all of these things were happening at the same time in the world. What changed? Well, we had pre-flood and post-flood. And all the floods are determined by the constellation in the stars in all the different cultures, right? We're still talking God here. Well, pre-flood, everyone looked at God as most powerful. You don't fuck around and find out, right? I grew up, the first thing that introduced me to Jesus was this book called Jonah and His Brothers, or Jonas and His Brothers, or something like that. Abraham's son, they sold him, he became Pharaoh.
Right.
Yeah, that was the first book I ever got my hands on, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Oh my God, wait. This is not just a fiction story. And then rabbit hole, right? I'm here now.
Yeah.
Then the flood happened.
That was like, Joseph, by the way.
Joseph. Thank you. Joseph and his brothers, correct. So pre-flood, everyone, God is only creator, most ultimate, most everything. The Bhagavad Gita describes it very simply. Among snakes, I am the king of snakes. Among the jungle, I am the lion. Among all the animals of dominance, I am man, right? I am the apex, as you said. God is the apex of all things. It is the ultimate of all things. And the flood happens. 80% of people die. Who's left now? Oh my God, God saved me. Thank you. Now we have this fear. We have this fear planted from, and this is dude on X, or Twitter. His handle is called Z Gunslinger. He's really good with like the name of like I'm gonna say it real quick: Templars, Masons, all those things. You know, I'm talking about government, all those family stuff like that. But it'll prove timelines. We're talking timelines of pre-flood and post-flood. Pre-flood, everybody in the name of God, good, virtuous. It's called dharma. I do for myself and for others. I only do for myself if it benefits myself and others. But what if it doesn't benefit others and it benefits only me? Throw that shit out. It's a bad seed, right?
Well,
It was a different time. After flood, and I'll put it down here. After flood, people became so afraid. People became so not afraid. People lost that fear. It was like, oh, God loves me. God chose me. God can do other things for me as well. So after that, it's like, before that, you were God's bitch. After that, God became your bitch. It doesn't fucking make sense. Who do people
no,
think they are?
yeah,
Now
I
we're
don't.
here.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely an evolution, so to speak, of the relationship that mankind has had with God over the years. Absolutely. You know, whether it was the Tower of Babel before the flood, I think where that's a lot of where the ancient tech came from. That a lot of conspiracy theorists like to talk about Tartaria and stuff. I think that's all before the Tower of Babel, high
Free
tech stuff.
energy, flying vehicles, laser guns. It was said, I'll give a brief one because this is cool. It's about AI. They was said that in the war before Ram, everybody knows Ram, right? Ram, Hanuman, whoever. Before the archers shot their bow, they would say a mantra. A mantra is a string of vibrations. That's it. You know what else? If you say HEYSIRI, I don't want to say it because my phone's gonna go off. You just voice activated your phone. Think about it. What if they had voice activated weapons that only work for them? You say this voice command in the middle of battle, the arrow will go boom. You say this voice command in the middle of it, it becomes a heat seeker. We wouldn't know yet. Yet's the key word. And I don't remember who, but there was some philosopher that said, or that wrote, once man gets to the point of ultimate tech, they nuke themselves 500 years back and start over again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're here. 500 years. It's over. Let's run it.
Yeah. What's
AI,
interesting?
baby.
Yeah, that's a whole another conversation. Um, yeah, I mean, I feel like
I'm gonna shout out Vince.
we could talk for
God is
days.
AI, the ultimate AI, not the new age robotic AI now. The thing that made people to harness people's energy for it to run as consciousness.
If
Alpha
AI,
intelligence,
if
the ultimate AI.
there you go, alpha intelligence. I love that.
Or ancient intelligence. Alpha ancient intelligence.
See, my concern is that it is ancient intelligence, namely demonic. This AI now is demonic, and not just computers, but a channel for
Sure.
maleficent beings. But
Let's accept that.
that's another conversation.
Okay, and that's just for now. No, we can keep it now. We can keep it in our conversation. I accept that. That's for now. And the greatest creator is letting me be aware of it so that I can realize it's also keeping me through of it so I can love it more. I realize God is the biggest attention whore. Do as I say or else. That's the whole Bible. And it's a great
Well,
lesson, guys. Like, always choose the biggest, most powerful person, and that's God. Don't have loyalties to anything else but, because that's retarded.
amen. Well, and you know what? Just kind of as we start to wind down a little bit here, and move towards landing the plane. We don't have to yet, but I want to circle back to something you said a little bit ago because I think it's beautiful, and it's been actually I used to get teased all the time by friends of mine because almost every single day, at some point during the day, you'll hear the words come out of my mouth. Everything happens for a reason, right?
Yeah.
And
Everything.
in scripture, we were told all things work for good of those who love him. Well, I love him. So therefore everything works for my good. Similar to what you said, everything works for my good. So I love that, man. I think
I'm going to say something about a book that gets a lot of shade. I'm not religious, by the way. If anyone that knows, I'm not religious. And to every and any Hindu watching, you're not religious either. All right? You're a geographical location. You don't have a religion as a Hindu. Look it up. You are Sanatani Dharam. You just follow the path of truth. You are a truth seeker. They believe in one God, and one God created everything. There's a lot of European manipulation in there. Free yourselves, right? That's a very important thing. Before I say this next line, the Quran says, "Do not and this is English. So to any Muslim people, right? I know you're going through Ramadan and stuff like that. So right. I understand what the term Allah defines as. It's defined as that of which created all things belong to, and all man belongs to. And that's very, very loose, right? And all the Muslims are going to attack me for this. But it's the same concept. Like if I don't speak Arabic, I can't say Allah for God. I'm gonna say God.
Right.
You don't speak Sanskrit. If I say say Shiva, that's retarded. Like, right? Cool. It said though, do not judge others that do not believe in it being God. For the God, that same God, is what chose. That's what's best for them. And when it's ready for them to believe in it, it will make them. It's pretty much a stay in your lane thing. Right? You follow your path, you follow your God. Christ consciousness is the thing.
Well, it's a similar to a lesson that I learned because we all go through a phase, especially as young men who tend to be overzealous for the things we're passionate about and try to convince everybody else that it's the way, that's the right, and move everybody along with us. Right? That's a very common mistake of passionate young men. And in my young passion, I remember trying to pressure my mother to accepting something as true that I believed to be true, that I understood to be true. And it was a cause of tension. And I remember going away in prayer afterwards and thinking, I remember feeling in my heart a correction from the Most High, who basically said, like, look, I'm patient with her. Yes, you may be right about that, but that doesn't mean it's the time for her to see that now. I might be preparing her heart for her to see that later when the time is right for her.
So God told you that, or you
Mm-hmm.
thought you heard God told you that?
I understood that in my heart. Whether it came, well, I didn't hear a voice, but that was what I understood, and I
Well, you
understood it
understood
as
it in here, not in here. In here, physically.
I understood. I understood that I was.
I call that Christ consciousness for Christians to
I,
understand
I,
that I understand.
I felt that I felt corrected by gently corrected by our Lord for stepping out of my lane, because it's like a chessboard. I love this analogy. If I'm just a
For
little pawn,
questioning the great, most powerful being to exist.
but also for trying to force another free will, because he respects our free will to the point where he'll allow us to withdraw from him, even though he wants union with us. So if he respects our free will enough to allow all the evil in the world because love is so valuable to him, then why am I not respecting this person's free will? And also, why am I not respecting the lane that God's put me in? If I'm just a little pawn, it's not my job to come in as a rook and go to the back rank and try to go checkmate, right? If I'm a pawn and I'm trying to push the king, I can only cover one little square. I might ruin the whole plan or delay it, right? So I need to have humbly stay in my lane so that God, who's the one trying to checkmate, who's moving the pieces to checkmate the heart of the person who I'm speaking to lead them to truth and to love of him in their time when he's calling them at his design, right? Rather than me trying to force it because I see it. Why don't they see it, right? So I think that's a beautiful idea, that we just stay in our lane and stay humble and allow God to lead
Because
us.
God's got it. It's a literal Jesus take the wheel. But when he
Yep.
takes the wheel, don't tell him how to fucking drive, right? That's the point. And it's pray, because I know we're coming to the end here. We don't pray. Like I said, certain words in my family that are banned because I got into something called so in the Vedas we have the Sanskrit stuff, which is the old stuff, and then the New Age Hindi stuff. They translated from Sanskrit to Hindi. And then they added parts. So the New Age stuff, the old stuff, it always praised, praised. You are the greatest. You are the ultimate. You are the sun. You have eyes like the sun. You are the sun. You are the moon. You are the this. You are the that. Da 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 da. After it becomes a, please do this for me. Please take that for me. Please, oh God bless you. Please take this for me. Please do this for me. Please do that for me. Please protect my this. Please watch over my that. Please guide me. It's like you're asking this higher being to do
Yeah.
something, and it becomes this. God is the perfect parent. If a child asks a normal parent, I have children. If a child asks a normal parent for something, either two things are happening there. Dualistic, Vince, whenever he pops up. The first thing is the parent is neglectful. And let's say the child's like, I need food, I need food. Well, either the parent is neglectful, a bad parent, and did not feed the child, or that child thinks it knows better than the parent, and it's fucking wrong. But God is the ultimate parent. God's not going to neglect you. So,
Mm-hmm.
us, the child, we're all guilty of it, think we know better than the most ultimate motherfucker. That's crazy.
One of
Take
my
my will. I don't need will. I can't control will. Take it. Bye.
one of my favorite right. One of my favorite little mottos to live by. What's up, Blue? Is
Blue.
is the phrase, God is never late, so you can always count on him. But he's never
God is
early
only now.
But he's never early either, and that's the hard part.
Well, in trading, you're supposed to have patience, man. You sit there and you wait. You're going to be so patient that they're going to ask you, you're going to go in line one day. They're going to be like,
Shiva
sir, it's going to take 5 more minutes.
Shiva Discipline.
We didn't even go trading like that as much as we could have. Fasting. I fast 22 hours a day. And then twice a month, I fast another 48 to 72 hours each time.
There you go.
And I eat all my calories and protein. Dude, we could do a whole fasting stream. Let your audience, whatever they want, ask them. Because
we should.
Jonah's going to have to prep for his cup.
In fact, we're gonna have to do a fasting party, guys. Now that Blue's here, Shiva, now you're talking about fasting again.
I've been fasting for 8 years. It's the greatest. I used to be almost 300 pounds, guys.
Good for you, buddy.
I'm 200 pounds now. Fasting is different. Best thing ever. And I feast every day. We can talk about it.
Thanks,
Cram, thank you.
Thanks for the repost, Cram. Monica.
Yeah, show this man some love, guys. We got so into it, we completely forgot about all that. Guys, Jonah gives you guys different level of sauce. Jonah forces you to think out of all the bullshit and the corruption and the fuckery. We didn't even plan this. Jonah, I'm going to just swing it.
Right.
I'm going to take one breath. Give me 30 seconds.
Go ahead,
Every morning, this man gets up, starts work, and then he goes ahead and puts on a call. I don't even know why the fuck I'm in Cup of Jonah. I never planned it. I saw it, ran it. It's Jonah. Holy fuck. Every morning, like and repost the video. That's it. I think you have a Substack or something like that. Go subscribe to it. They have great. Do we call it a paywall? I don't know. It's a paywall. I don't play with words. There's a wall. You want the information? Pay for it. Show that you value it. If not, get fucked. That's the point. Share to all your friends who can really open their mind and find some source of God. Get people questioning. Even if people say, is God real again? Let them talk about God again. It's the only way to bring. We didn't even talk about the nuclear family. Bringing back, saving the children. It's all God. Or source energy. If you don't believe in God, for those people that don't believe in God, fine. Go figure out what started everything. Just go. That's the point of it all.
Well,
that's the point. And keep it to yourself. Don't try to convince anybody else.
But share it joyfully with others. Don't pressure anybody, but share it.
Pre-flood, information was openly given. Post-flood, they restrained it because everyone became selfish.
So it's easier because on X it's hard to find all the episodes. Cram, I appreciate you being there every morning, buddy. That means a lot. Dead Game, what's up, buddy? So it's easier to find all of the episodes because on X everything gets lost with all the other posts and everything. The easiest way to find the episodes is if you go to @Jonah Stormrider on YouTube. You could switch over to the live tab because everything goes live. That's where you'll see all the Cup of Jonah episodes in order. Or even easier is if you go onto Spotify @Jonah Stormrider, it's a Cup of Jonah. Just search for the Cup of Jonah podcast, and it's there. Every episode is there. So that's the easiest way to kind of catch up if you've fallen behind or whatever else. But definitely Substack is a great way too. Personally, and this is just me, I find Substack hard to navigate. On the phone, the app is terrible. Like so I have to do it on a computer or not at all because the phone is just a disaster. But that's just me. But definitely check out the phone booth. Support us if you want. We'd obviously appreciate it. Because a lot of us. I don't get $1. I've never gotten $1 from any of this. It's just my passion, my love for you guys and for truth and everything. So, but anything that is generated from any subscriptions that are going into the Substack all goes back to pay for the tools that we use to broadcast. So it's not coming out of our pocket as much anymore. So,
correct. Tell them how it works. For you to have that beautiful face, that camera, that costs money. Microphones cost money. like this takes from your time. Correct. And it doesn't cost you anything to like. It doesn't cost you anything to repost, and thank everyone else that likes and reposts everything. I'm not as nice and clean as Jonah is
I,
with the
I,
words, but
I do want to add this as well, and I really appreciate the shout out, Shiva. I do want to add this as well. Something that means a lot to me is the comments and the interaction. I know I'm not so good at when we on Philosopher King because I get so into the deep dives. I'm not so good at pulling in the comments always. Um, but especially on Cup of Jonah in the morning, I love it when there's interaction because the whole point of that is to have a little bit of a reading and then a conversation and kind of riff and wrestle with the ideas a little bit. So I love it.
in the Vedic culture, we call that a kirtan. So it's a sitting from where there's some type of literature. It's you read from it word for word, and then you sit and you speak about it, right? The reader will sit and will speak to the audience about it, and modern times you'll take questions. It helps everyone understand. It's a
So
good thing.
Cup of Kirtan tomorrow morning.
Nah, cup of Jonah, man, cup of Jonah.
I'm just kidding.
If it works, don't fix it.
I'm just kidding. I love it, man. So yeah, no, I really appreciate this conversation. We're gonna have to have follow ups because this was a lovely conversation, man. And I
We're on like
appreciate.
95, 98% of things, man. Everything else, it's the rest of our lives to experience to figure it out.
I love the sincerity. I love the sincerity with which you approach conversations, and I love the direct communication. And I think that it's just it's a gift because even if we don't agree on some things or we agree with some caveats or whatever, it doesn't really matter because there's that mutual respect, clear communication, and I love the passion you have, man. And yeah, I'm looking forward to continuing to get to know you better over the years. And it's been a joy, man. I appreciate you spending the time this evening.
It's always a great time in my world. I don't have all those different individual things like Jonah for websites. Follow me on X, Twitter at Shiva Discipline. I have a link tree. Click that, and it'll keep you most updated with me. Rumble, YouTube, and all that. I plan. Let's see where this goes. We're gonna take it somewhere from here.
Before, if you want, no obligation, but before we wrap up here, if you have two things, if you have any last words for the people, and then secondly, if you wanted to touch a little bit on the fasting program slash mentorship that you were telling me about before we started.
Totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
That's why I was the first.
So,
all right. So I really live in the now. As a trader, I really live in the now. All right. A lot of people think I'm naive, but no. I'm from the South Bronx. I came out from the worst neighborhood ever. You guys can imagine, right? But God is the greatest thing ever, and Godspeed is the thing. All right. So I do live my life whatever you tell me, I'll believe you. That's it, because your lives will expose itself. I do and unfortunately, a lot of people get upset about that. But to the traders out there, I do trading one-on-ones, trading psychological one-on-ones. I'm gonna put down my cup of Jonah real quick. This is for people that trade. These are people that, and I always post content, like the things I post, or I always give free information. I'll post more videos, and I'll start talking about some trading stuff. But even if you're not a trader, it's about mental discipline. I have this trading psychology one-on-one where we can do an hour, we can do an hour and a half. There's a little survey before to see if you're a good fit. We will talk about what your experience is and get you through the psychological holdback. I genuinely have experienced in 6 years of trading. The only thing holding me back was my psychology. It's really not the strategy. All the strategies work. And let's take this out of trading. It's a lack of discipline, a lack of awareness, and a lack of living in the now. I'll call that the human condition of modern times. That fucks up our life, and really, really, as traders, fucks up our money. So if you can find the mastery of your mind, and you can really understand your own psychological holdbacks, there are tools that we can do. There are things that we do. So yeah, in a quick hour, we go through it. We talk about what's holding you back psychologically, and then we build a plan toward the end for you to counter your psychology active in the trade. Like, guys, we don't give up these emotions. We learn how to play with them. We enjoy them. We have fun with them. We don't feel here. We think. Because when you feel, you haven't completely thought.
I love it. I love it. That's great. Well, thank you again, Shiva.
Thank you, my man.
Last, the book that I was trying to remember, last kernel for the people at home as well, The Alchemist. If you haven't read The Alchemist yet, I think you especially, Shiva, would love it. It's about
It's
a
next on
man.
my read list.
It's not a very long story. It is very well written, and the message at the end, I won't spoil any of it for you. It's beautiful. I think you'll love it. So, Shiva, thank you again, sir, for your time this
Jonah,
evening.
thank you for having me. May we have many more.
Amen, sir. All right, everybody, good night. Thank you for watching.
Later.